Okay, I want to do a review on something that we had found ourselves in great need of recently. We rescued a kitten from our tree just outside our garage, and then we found two more kittens outside, and it was several days later, so we figured the mother must still be alive because how would these other kittens survive? But we took a while to capture them, and we used a live trap actually, but we realized they were actually our kittens because the cat who could only be their mother was our cat, although she was sort of an outdoor cat, and we kind of inherited her from somebody. We were told she was fixed, but clearly she wasn't. We brought her in the house, and she'd been here for about 3 days, and then we realized if those kittens are hers, then we better try to capture them. So we caught them. They were really, really hungry when we brought them in. And when we brought the first cat in, we realized, like immediately, she was infested with fleas. So I think we gave her 5 baths in the first couple of days. First, we just had like regular pet shampoo. Then my husband got flea shampoo, and then we're trying to capture them with the flea, with like the comb. And it wasn't super successful because she's so small. The comb would, you hardly get around her leg because her leg was so tiny and the comb was like this wide. So we eventually won the baths I gave her. I kind of counted the fleas that floated to the top of the water after. I didn't like dump the water out right away. I let them sit for a bit, and I combed like fleas that were coming on her because I don't wash their face or anything. I just put the fleece up at the back of their neck, front of their neck, and then the fleas travel up if they can, and they were like all around her head. So I was like combing them out and getting them in the water to drown them. And afterwards I went back and kind of counted. I was like 55 fleas. That's a lot of fleas. So we had a lot of fleas. And there's only so much you can do with a little tiny kitten when she was only a couple weeks old. Even the flea soap doesn't recommend it. But I mean, she was like being tormented. And of course she has very thin fur. And then the fleas would be jumping on us. And we're like, oh my gosh, we got to get this cat cleaned. And I washed the bedding a bunch of times because we're getting bit by fleas in our bed. Because of course we play with her on our bed. So finally, my husband went out and got this thing called the Ultimate Flea Trap. And we put it in front of her carrier at night. She slept in the carrier at night because she's so tiny. Couldn't have her sleep in our bed, plus she would pee in the bed, right? Until she's really housebroken now. She kind of like almost trained herself. Anyway, I'm going to show you the flea trap and to see how well it worked, not just on fleas. The Ultimate Flea Trap. And as you can see, there's tons of fly dirt on here because it has a little, all it is it's just a light bulb. You just have the plug here and you just plug it in. Actually, the light bulb only lasted 2 days. Luckily, I had one more of these light bulbs. It's like a Christmas tree light bulb. And it has a sticky paper. It's just a light bulb. See, there's a light bulb. And look, it captured all the flies you can imagine that were around our house. And look at all the fleas it got. Some of these fleas look like they were just really tiny, and some were like full-size adult fleas. And obviously it's by Victor, which is the mouse trap company. We used them for mouse traps before too. But yeah, you can really get a close-up. And see all the dust in there because we've had it out for maybe 3 weeks now. And the top's a bit dusty too. But yeah, the flies would go to the top. Of course, they poop all over the place. And then they would get down here, sucked in, allured by the light. And yeah, I didn't realize there's that many houseflies in our house, but yeah, it's even sticky up to the little tab you pull off. So it comes with 2 of these sticky papers, and all it does is you put your finger in there, and then this pops up, and then you put another disc down, peel the thingy off, and then you put the sticky side up, and that's it. That's the Ultimate Flea Trap, and it works really good on flies. Probably if there's any other insects we had around the house, like actually I'm thinking fruit flies. Especially if you had something in there that would lure them in, because we've had brought some peaches home and had a bout of fruit flies. We usually use a little a mason jar with wine, and then put a saran wrap on top with little fork holes through it so they get in there and can't get out. But yeah, I think that's pretty amazing. And that did catch a lot of fleas. I didn't actually try to count them. They look like they're more than 55 in here. So, like I said, she was infested, and of course we have other cats in the house too. So we don't really want everyone to get totally infested. And we got flea collars for everyone else, the older cats, just because we weren't sure how much they had fleas as well, because obviously these cats all go outside and they catch them from the grass, and obviously we have lots of fleas in the grass. So, and the mummies and also gave them Advantage. I put that on their necks. I just started that in October, so they have their 2nd dose now. My husband was finally able to catch the mom cat. She was in the house, but like you couldn't touch her. Like she was so terrified of people. So she would always sit on his chair. And sort of recently she's gotten, like, we've had her for a year. So this is like, recently, I mean, like in the last month, she started to stay on his chair when he came in his office. And then he would sit on his chair, but he would be kind of scooched to the front. So she would kind of jump back up behind him if he was there long enough. So he was able to go over, and I think he must have kind of grabbed her and tucked her into his coat. He told me he wore his coat to do it anyway, maybe because he thought she would like attack him. But he put her in the cage with her kittens, and of course she's quite happy in her cage with the kittens, except she has other issues. Now that we've got to, get close to her and have her in a contained area, she's got worms or something. So we're going to the vet on Wednesday because she's got horrible diarrhea. And of course then the babies, often the babies are born with worms anyway, we're told. When we had our puppies, that's what they told us. So yeah, we got lots of issues with these cats. But we're going to the vet on Wednesday, and we'll get some Strongyt or some other medication for worms. I don't know if I'd ever be able to give her a flea bath. I'd want to cut her nails, obviously, first. I've never held her, so going to the vet is going to be interesting because we're going to get her into the carrier, and I'm going to have to get her back out at the vet's office and back in. The kittens are fine. The kitten we had first, Maple, Lucky Maple, we're calling her. She's the most, she's totally weaned from mom. This is a nature versus nurture thing because we had her for about 2 weeks before we introduced, brought the other kittens in and got the mom all together and got them all in the same cage. The other kittens, of course, remember their mom, went right to her, started nursing from her. Maple, nothing. She totally ignored the mom. She would snuggle up to her, but the other kittens have been nursing and she wouldn't be interested. Now, I had bottle fed her, and she'd bite the little nipples right off the bottle. So I went through 2 nipples in a couple of days. I'm like, okay, this is not working. We're going to have to put this kitten replacement milk on a saucer because she's just going to choke. Actually, she did bite a little bit of the nipple and I couldn't find it. I think she did actually swallow it. And then I was really worried that she would get constipated. This would get stuck in her intestine. I called the vet and I said, she hasn't pooped in a whole day and I don't know what to do, right? It's just like having a new baby. So she did poop the next day. So we were fine. And I didn't see any of that nipple come back out. So maybe she never ate it to begin with. It just might have fallen and just, fell. I didn't see it fall. So she is not going towards mom. And when I open the cage, actually, she's the one who actually climbs the cage. It's really funny. It's a big dog crate we have them in that we used to have our golden retriever in. And it's probably 3 or 4 feet wide, at least 2 feet, length and width, at least by 3 or 4 by 2. And then it's about it's about 3 feet high, I think. It's actually quite tall. So our golden retriever used to sit in, that was her kennel. So at night she would go in there so she could stand up in it. And she was an adult. So yeah, it's a big cage. So my little Maple, she'll climb to the top of the cage and she'll just hang there and wants to come out, right? She wants to play. And when I go down there to feed them or whatever, she'll come right to the door. She'll walk right out the door. When I open the door, she'll walk right out. The other cats sort of go to the back. Don't touch me. So we're trying to get them more acclimatized to people. The other calico, because the mom's a calico, one of the babies is a calico. She's almost all white with just a little pink and gray here and there, but she's still really afraid. And so I took them out last night. I gave her another bath again because with the diarrhea and stuff and litter is sticking to the fur in their feet. I gave her a bath and I gave the brother a bath, and I'd already given Maple a bath the day before, I think it was, so I didn't want to torture her again. But so little brother, I had them all, I call them little burrito babies because I had them all wrapped up in these microfiber towels. If you're going to bath a cat that has fleas, use those little microfiber rags you get at Costco for a pack of 10 or something for a few bucks. Because when you wrap, once they're out of the water and then you go to dry them, first of all, they dry better in these microfiber towels because they absorb so much water. But the fleas get caught in the fibers. So when the fleas get caught in the fibers, it's really easy if you're taking the towel off. You can, I killed them between my fingernails. They're easy to easily caught. Or you just take the towel off right away and I put it back in the water that I bathed them in. Or I just threw it in the washing machine and then I just would, run it on the next cycle. So the fleas might be bouncing around my washing machine. I'm okay with that. As long as they don't jump out when you open the door. Just turn it on. So that's what we did. And so the little boy got a bath last night and the girl was all antsy. We put her back in the cage early, but the boy, he was good. and he snuggled up with me with Maple in the bed after, and we kind of fell asleep. But she loves snuggling, and she loves getting under the covers with me. And yes, there are still a few fleas, I'm thinking. So if the vet can help us out with what you give kittens for fleas, besides, you know, every other day flea baths and one of these light things, which actually worked really well, as you can see. Yeah, we'll find out on Wednesday. That's our Victor Ultimate Flea Trap review and our kitten update.